Am I back? Are we back? We're back, people. I'm pretty sure we're back. It may be Metal Week, but I haven't lost my hearing yet. You're muted. I hope no one left. I hope people just like skip to the middle or whatever of Coffee and MTG. So what ends up happening is like this RTX voice just randomly. I can't explain it, but there's like a program that's running side by side with my microphone. If this program has been turned off for whatever reason out of my control, then like you can't hear me. You just can't hear me. Usually isn't a problem. Just hope that no one left the morning show on the replay. But remember, it's Coffee and MTG, December 15th, 2020. First half of the show, we do Q&A. So if you want to be part of the discussion, want to be able to see your comments, please do 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. And second half, we do deck list review. So if you've got a 75 that you need some feedback on, you better believe you can submit it, and both myself and the community can give that feedback. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to Olaf from Facebook. I can see on Facebook and YouTube. Morning, Stefan, Frederick, Lord Magicus, Colin, Jojo, Grim Ducky, Dire Wolf. Thank you very much, Juan. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it wouldn't be much of a talk show if you can't hear me. Man, let's start the conversation off about Modern. We all love Modern, don't we? Everyone's complaining about Uro. Like, everyone's like, Uro this, Uro that, nah, it's blah, blah, blah. I have a different complaint. I feel like Modern has become a combo hell. There are so many combo decks. Now, you could say Rakdos Shadow's not a combo deck, but it's like, it's close. Like, it's basically make a big Death Shadow or Scourge of the Skyclaves and Team or Battle Rage you to death. That's like a 2-card win condition. Heliod Company, that is a hardcore combo deck. That is hardcore. There are multiple different like Splinter Twin like ways of winning the game between Spike Feeder Heliod and also Heliod Sun Crowned, but also Walking Ballista and Heliod Sun Crowned. Abosh is an aggro deck. I'm not going to call that a combo deck. Aladdin Breeze Toolbox, these Titan decks, these are combo decks. The combo is simple. Get a Titan and then basically win the game. I mean, they do have some mini combos in between, like a Dryad of the Elysian Grove and Valakut, which is just dumb. What is the deck building restriction around playing with Valakut the Molten Pinnacle in your deck? That is insane. Like, the whole purpose of Valakut the Molten Pinnacle is that your deck is restricted to mountains, but it's completely undermined by Dryad of the Elysian Grove. I think that's nuts. Tron, arguably a control deck, arguably a combo deck. Assembling 3 lands together is basically a combo. Amulet Titan, that's definitely a combo deck. Hammer Time, combo deck. Ad Nauseum, combo deck. Oops All Spells, combo deck. There's like shitload of combo in Modern right now. And that might explain why the metagame looks as it is. There's like very few like even mid-rangey decks, and if you look at like the decks that you aren't going to consider a combo deck, some of them are super fast, like Rakdos Shadow and even the Abosh Prowess deck. And yes, Abosh Prowess can go for the long game, but if your defenses are down, they can just kill you on the spot. So and then if you're not a combo deck, if you're not one of these super fast decks, you're an Uro deck. So weird position for the Modern metagame right now. How many more combo decks there are? Fucking combo decks. And I didn't come to realize this until I made my like top 10 decks to beat video, which should be out today. I'm editing it right now, just taking a break here. Mill is a combo deck. Dredge is a combo deck. Blitz we can consider an aggro deck. I could consider Eldrazi Tron a mid-range deck as well. It's the era of combo right now in Modern. It's the era of combo. Let me know what you think. Are we in combo winter or what? Sup, Stephanie. Good morning. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Torborg. It's pronounced, Steven. All right. We'll pronounce the Steven from now on. Love is a strong word. Merfolk is a complex combo. Depends. And even Merfolk is sort of going in the combo direction now. We got the Splinter Fin deck. We got Splinter Fin. The only way to compete with these combo decks is a combo off before they combo off. Combo is big because fair decks can't compete with the Field of the Dead, Uro value, good stuff deck. You can even say Field of the Dead is a combo now. You just put a million lands in play and a Field of the Dead. Maybe any deck can play Field of the Dead if you have enough, like, if you're at 3 colors or more. Good morning, Tontoro. Storm is a fun combat to combat. Is a fun combat to combo decks. Interesting. Well, what if your opponent gains infinite life? What do you do? But actually, I mean, I guess it is a pretty good combo deck against the other combo decks. Yeah, if they ban just Uro, I think these blazing fast decks are going to get even faster, even more consistent. Not necessarily, because then you would bring the Jund decks out. Like, a big complaint that I hear from the Jund community is like, oh, I don't know what to do against all these like Uro decks. Like, if the mid-range decks can't do shit to the Uro decks, which are a huge percentage of the metagame. We see 7.1% here, but you got to add them all up. You got to add up the Sultai Uro, the Teamer Uro. It all adds up to 14%. Then all those Thoughtseize, those Thoughtseize archetypes, the archetypes that pick off all the little creatures, they all they can't compete so long as Uro's in the metagame because their card attrition doesn't match up with the value train of 4/4 creature, draw a card, gain a bunch of life, gain a bunch of mana, Uro, draw a card, get extra land drops. I mean, it's obscene. It's just obscene. So maybe if they ban Uro, we're going to see more one-for-one removal decks to help beat up or chew up the combo decks. But they won't do that much against the Titan decks. Titan decks got really strong. We have 2 very strong Titan decks right now. Elves has always been a combo. Is it the time for Elves? Maybe not, just because of the Prowess deck is too popular. Racing Tug. Morning, Magic Masters. Good morning. Good morning, Joshua. Are color soup decks bad for Modern? Not necessarily. It's just what's in that soup. What do you have in that soup? Some spice? You have some spice? You got some mushrooms? Good morning, Lassie. To Infinite Life. I know it's a response to something I said, but I can't remember exactly how you're responding. But yeah, so you can beat basically everything except Infinite Life. Although Storm can do a lot of damage, almost infinite. It seems like infinite damage, but not quite infinite. Time for Titan to go bye-bye? I don't know. Like, let's say you ban something from the Titan deck, and people are starting to talk a little bit more about this. Like, do we really ban Primeval Titan? To be brutally honest, if you ban Primeval Titan, the deck is still pretty good. The Stride of the Elysian Grove plus Valakut is going to be an archetype by itself for a very long time. I mean, that is a win condition by itself. You could say Prowess is a combo deck, yeah. Mr. Nikachu, next to Merfolk, what deck or archetype would you say are closest to mastery with? Take care. Oh, nothing. I don't know. The next closest deck I've mastered, maybe Spirits, and I can't even say I've mastered Spirits very much. Didn't play it very much. Where do humans go from here? Thanks for the content. Humans has got to wait for Death Shadow decks to come back. I don't know. The problem for humans is that they have like a lukewarm game against like what's it called? The Dryad deck? Sorry. Yeah, these Titan decks. Like sometimes they can race them, but sometimes they can't. These Titan decks can gain a lot of life or just blow up the entire board with like the Valakut triggers. So and there's multiple Titan decks. I mean, between this Amulet and the Elvish Reclaimer version. I mean, this is 7% of the metagame. So that's a lot of Titan decks. They're like okay against everything. They're like 50-50, I think, against Uro. I think they have a fine Death Shadow matchup. They have access to Auriok Champion. I don't know what their matchup is like against the Healing Company deck. I would imagine bad because, I mean, how do you beat infinite life, infinite damage? And it's a creature combo. That one's probably bad. Tron is always 50-50. I think a lot of their 50-50 matchups have like moved to the top. Hammer Time might be bad because that's like a combo deck. Ad Nauseam is a good matchup. Ad Nauseam is a bit too slow for humans, but it's just like a lot. You got to wait for things to change. I think humans has got to wait for the tide to turn. Still a playable deck, but definitely not well positioned right now. What other combos have you tried or know of for Merfolk? What else have we tried as a combo? Oh, maybe Mike fans can help me out here. I've tried a lot of janky stuff. I don't remember ever going off with anything else except Splinterfin, though. Like, that felt like the most actual combo deck to me. I have tried with, like, Stoneforge Mystic, so that made it felt like a little even more of a combo deck. Maybe this is a stupid question, but what is the combo in Elves? Assemble a bunch of Elves? I mean, the combo's simple. What's it called? Elves? My mind. Okay, so the point is you put a bunch of elves in play. You get like a lot elvish arch druid. You try to generate a lot of mana with elvish arch druid. You're not really there for the lord. You're there for the add green for each elf you control, and then when you have a lot of mana, you is it Azuri? It's been so long, Azuri. Azuri Renegade Leader has this ability. Five mana. Elves you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. So the idea is get a bunch of mana, and then you basically attack with a bunch of 7/7 trampling elves, and you kill your opponent. If your opponent does not interact with your creatures, they'll just die on the spot. Simple as that. That is the combo. Some decks these days are playing with Craterhoof to just which I think is also fine. They like turn Timber Symbiosis a Craterhoof Behemoth in play. Give everything +X/+X. When Craterhoof enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. The problem with this combo is, like, even with Azuri, you can only generate a lot of mana with Elvish Archdruid because you have a lot of creatures in play. But if there's a lot of removal in the format, you're in a lot of trouble. And as we look here, I mean, I would say Uro has a lot of removal. Death Shadow has a lot of removal. Mono Red Aggro has a lot of removal. Heliod might have enough removal with Skyclave Apparition, and then it might be a race with these Titan decks. I mean, Amulet can easily win on turn 3, basically. If you just let Amulet do their thing and Elves do their thing, maybe they're just goldfishing for a win, and it's like all about who wins the die roll. Do you think banning just Uro or just Omnath is going to make the combo decks become out of control? No, I don't think it'll. I actually think banning Uro actually might help beat the combo decks. Take for example, let's look at. Sorry, we got to see my beautiful face. Take Eldrazi for example. This deck is actually pretty good at chewing up combo decks because it has main deck Chalice of the Void. So there's a lot of, and it has good pressure with their creatures, but it doesn't do so hot against the Uro decks. Like, you have game against Uro decks, but the Uro decks just outvalue you and do much bigger things than you. So if you get rid of the Uro decks, maybe Eldrazi can get larger in meta presence, and if it becomes a much larger deck in the metagame, it can help police this crap. But anyway, it's not. It's a small portion of the metagame. I don't think the combo decks are going to get worse if Uro is banned. What happened to Urza? Do you think it could come back? That's a good question. What did happen to Urza? Where did Urza go? What do you guys think? I mean, the banning of Mox Opal into Arkham's Astrolabe ended up being a beating for the deck, but I don't really think it deserves to be gone from the metagame, especially since there is no artifact hate in the metagame right now. That's why Hammer Time is a deck at the moment. There's no artifact hate. Like, no one's preparing for it at all. I mean, no, well, Opal got banned, but the deck was still being played with Astrolabe, no? It was still a deck. We still saw Urza for a very long time. It wasn't until Astrolabe finally got banned that now the deck started to really slow itself down. And maybe it's just because if you're going to be playing some sort of blue control deck, maybe Uro is just the better deck, and people don't want to play a second-rate blue control deck. I think it still has all the pieces, though. I don't think anything has changed. Not too much. I don't think enough stuff has changed. I think there's a lot of artifact replacements. I have seen a top 8 in the Modern Challenge with a Urza deck, and it looks perfectly reasonable, but no one followed up with it. Morning, Zach. Oh, we once played the Cloudstone. Yeah, that's great, Chris. So in Merfolk, there was a question: have I played any other Merfolk combos? Yes, there is a combo with Cloudstone Curio. It's a bad combo. Oops. Oh, Cloud. I'm like, how did I misspell this? Here's an art. So here's an artifact. Cloudstone Courier. Whenever a non-artifact permanent comes into play under your control, you may return another permanent you control that shares a permanent type with it to its owner's hand. So the point is, if I play a creature, I can return a creature to my hand. I can return another creature. If I play an enchantment, I can return another enchantment I controlled back to my hand. If I play an artifact, I can return. Oh no, it's a non-artifact. If I play a planeswalker, I can return another planeswalker to my hand. Then there was Merfolk Wit Sniper. Oh, is it Marrow? Marrow Wit Sniper. When Marrow Wit Sniper comes into play, target player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. Now, the point is we're going to mill our opponents. How do we do that? Mirror Regery. So Mirror Regery, basically, the point is, if we have like 2 Mirror Wit Snipers, actually we need just 1 Mirror Wit Sniper and another creature. We have Mirror Regery in play. We get to play this for free because Mirror Regery says that we can untap a permanent. Tap or untap a permanent whenever we cast a creature. Okay, so let's say we have 2 Mirror Wit Snipers and that Cloudstone Curio. So I play Mirror Wit Sniper with Regery on the battlefield. I get to untap my land. Wit Sniper enters the battlefield, mill the opponent. I'm going to return another Mirror Wit Sniper back to my hand with Cloudstone Curio. Then I replay the Mirror Wit Sniper, untap my land with Regery, make my opponent mill a card, return the other Mirror Wit Sniper. Anyway, you repeat this process until your opponent's milled out. It's terrible. If you thought Splinter Fin was hard to combo off with, this is an absolute nightmare. I have comboed off with this, but it took like 15 minutes. It's just brutal. It's a really crappy combo. I do not recommend this combo at all. What do you think of mono red as of yet? What do you mean mono red? What? Mono red anything? You mean mono red? I mean, Abosh Prowess is amazing. This is an amazing deck right now. Super, super powerful. Is Amuletite mono green now? Not really. It's never been truly mono green. Always has access to those other color lands. Your thoughts on with Hypergenesis and Modern? It's probably very safe. I don't know if they'll unban it. I mean, playtesting it, it's like a really bad card. So this is like, I don't know, a show and tell living end sort of card. I don't know how much I buy the argument like you can only unban cards that are going to be good for the format. This is a very fair card. Starting with you, each player may put an artifact creature. It's show and tell. But you get to put the entire hand into play. Both sides get to do it. And the thing is, it's like a lot of combo decks have the benefit of mulliganing to like the perfect hand. You can't really do that with Hypergenesis. You need a cascade spell in your hand. B, you need the win conditions in your hand, unlike Living End. And C, you need enough lands in play to cast the cascade spell. So it's actually really hard to pull off. And occasionally, your opponent might have better things to put into play than you. So Hypergenesis, I actually do not think is ban worthy. I don't think it should be on the ban list. I don't know if it should be. How does everyone feel about Hypergenesis being in Modern? Hypergenesis is Eureka. How do you feel about Hypergenesis being in Modern? I doubt I would doubt it would be a problem. Not to mention, like, Chalice on Zero just beats this. Not every deck has access to Chalice on Zero, but enough decks will. It's very inconsistent. And I tell you this, if you ban Simian Spirit Guide, then this deck really doesn't do anything. I don't think Hypergenesis is a problem for the format. The card is lame. Maybe you have lame things to put on the battlefield. I'm not really looking at the whole ban list. No, we're just talking about Hypergenesis. I mean, you drop your Emrakul and I drop my Detention Sphere. There you go, exactly. Exactly. So there are answers. You can and you could bring your answers in the form of permanence, you know? Hypergenesis equals broken. I think it is probably too risky to let in the modern. Also, the RX card. And as foretold makes it a better card. Yeah, but then that's turn. That will be like. That still takes too many cards, in my opinion. That means you need like hypergenesis in your hand. You need the mana, you need those electrodominance, and you need hypergenesis in your hand, and you need the win conditions in your hand. Now you're actually just putting more cards in your hand, which makes the combo less consistent because you have less payoffs. I mean the main mono red deck with the Bosch and Blood Moon main board. It's a really good deck. One of the best, top 5 for sure. Easily one of the best decks in Modern right now. Unban the artifact lands and let Urza run the format. I still don't think the Urza lands would even do like those artifact lands would even do anything. Still pretty. I'm standing to that opinion. They are the dumbest cards on the ban list at the moment. By that logic, isn't Show and Tell broken? Show and Tell. Show and Tell is harder to interact with. Well, first off, like some people would argue it is broken. It's Legacy and it's full of broken stuff. Although at the moment, I don't think it sees much play. Turn 2/3 Emrakul in a blue shell is not bad. Also, it's not the first time we've seen this. We've seen Goryo's Vengeance decks play Emrakuls on turn 2. I don't want to have Simian Spirit Guide banned for the Hypergenesis to exist. Okay, that's a fair opinion. That's a very fair opinion. You get Emrakul, I get Phantasmal Image. It wouldn't work. That interaction doesn't work, Cactus of Ishmak. Let's talk about clones. Clones can only copy things that are already on the battlefield, not things that are entering play. Actually, I don't know how that would interact with Hypergenesis, to be honest. Maybe things are actually physically going into play one at a time. Maybe that is working. Does anyone know? If someone Hypergenesis is in like Emrakul, can I follow that up with Phantasmal Image? I don't know. I'm guessing no, you can't, because clones cannot copy things entering the battlefield. Clones have to only copy things that are already on the battlefield, and I don't think Hypergenesis has completely resolved by the time Phantasmal Image comes into play. How does Oops All Spell lose? Oh, we can have a great discussion about that. Okay, so there's a lot of ways you can beat Oops All Spells. Currently, you could like here's one Relic. Sorry, Relic of Progenitus does a pretty good job. So when they dump their whole deck into their graveyard, you just exile it with Graveyard Hate. So and it doesn't need to be Relic. It can be Rest in Peace. It can be Tormod's Crypt. It can be Nihil Spellbomb. So I mean, any artifact hate, because they're gonna put like a ton of Creeping Chills and Vengevines and all the good stuff into the graveyard. You just have to exile it all when the triggers start going on the stack. So that's one easy way of beating it. You can beat it with Pithing Needle. Name Salvage Titan with Pithing Needle. See, what makes this deck tick is that they dump their whole deck into their graveyard, and then they activate Salvage Titan. So they already played one. So for Vengevine to come back from the graveyard, they need to cast 2 creatures this turn. They already cast the Balustrade Spy or the Undercity Informer, so they need a second creature cast, and that's what they use Salvage Titan for. So they can sacrifice 3 artifacts rather than pay the spell's mana cost. But most importantly, they have an activated ability. Exile 3 artifact cards from your graveyard, return Salvage Titan from your graveyard to your hand. And when you do that, you can stop that with Pithing Needle. So if they can't get Salvage Titan back to their hand, they can't cast the damn thing. And they don't get the second trigger from Vengevine. They might not need to ban the deck. They can just like errata the what's it called, how the lands work. Like they should be lands on the deck, not spells. In the library, they should be lands, not spells. They could easily make that. What else? There's Surgical Extraction. Choose target card in a graveyard other than a basic land card. Search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. That works. What else works? Give me some names, people. How else do we crush this deck? Counter spells. Sometimes just counter it. Do the work. Do the job. Counter the Balustrade Spy. Counter the Undercity Informer. I know the Elvish Reclaimer, the Elvish Titan decks. They keep they play Elvish Reclaimer and then just keep it active for the rest of the game. They have 2 mana up all the time because the moment the opponent wants to combo off, they'll search for Bajuka Bog. When ETB, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. So some versions do play Charbelcher, some versions don't. But yeah, they could have Charbelcher. I think Collector Roof and Stony Silence are actually quite good too, because those decks, okay, not only can we beat the Charbelcher with it, but artifact mana is like a pretty big deal. So you can shut off their artifact mana with Collector Roof. So sometimes they just have enough mana. Like they sometimes depend on that artifact mana in order to ramp, or even just pay for their black spells. So some artifact hate is good as well. Then there's, of course, J.K. Torborg, always about Nimble Obstructionist. Now, Nimble Obstructionist isn't seeing much play in the metagame, but you have this cycle effect, counter target activated or triggered ability you don't control. So you can counter the Balustrade Spy entering the battlefield, but Aspiring Spike is playing Tail's End. So this card actually is seeing play in Modern right now. That works. Oh, that's a great one. Charm. So there's what's it called? Archmage's Charm. So the deal is you target player draws 2 cards. So when your opponent has they mill their whole deck into their graveyard, and then with, like, for example, with Nexus of Fate on the stack, you force your opponent to draw 2 cards. If they can't draw any more cards, the whole deck is in the graveyard, and you just win the game there. Now, they might have Leyline of Sanctity out, but like this is an option to win the game. So as you see, there's like a lot of creative ways of beating this deck. It's not the end of the world or anything like that. It's just that you sort of have to adapt and, you know, integrate these cards into your archetype. A little off topic since it's not very competitive, but what cards do you combo with Tamio the Moon Sage Ultimate other than Omniscience? I have no idea. Let's go help our friend here. Let's help Fading Light. Tamio! I would love for there to be a good Tamio card. Okay. Ultimate on this beauty. You get an emblem with, you have no maximum hand size, and whenever a card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you may return it to your hand. Hold on, do I have the right one? I don't know how you use... I think you have the wrong Tamio. Because I don't know how Omniscience combos with this at all. You have no maximum hand size whenever a card is put into your graveyard. Oh, I see. Omniscience, you just play a card like for infinite times. I don't think there's a good way to combo with this. I mean, it's just value cards. You just have basically infinite cards. Basically. I don't think there's necessarily a combo to be had here, unless someone knows. Oh, the irony. I finally built a somewhat playable prowess deck, but lost all my play points. What should I do now to compete? I was thinking about buying a league for cash. I need play points. Yeah, go. You're probably. I mean, there's going to be no other way to do it. If you have any spare cards that you're not using, you could sell them. If you have spare cards in your account, and then you could, you know, that could be a way of getting the money. If you are very confident in yourself, you can play in the queues. which are lower risk, like it only costs $2 to enter, and then try to grind your way from there. The reward is less, but the players are a lot weaker. So you might want to start off in the queues, the 1v1 queues, and then when you get to about, say, 300 play points, move into a league. Take a step up, move into a league, and see if you can grind your way there. And then if you lose really badly in a league, you move back down to the 1v1 queues. That's what I'd recommend. Dexter Johnson, good morning. Any rituals? Oh, that's interesting. Infinite mana. How can we combat 4-color Omnath Saheeli Uro piles? In my opinion, graveyard hate. That is my I've been very loud about this. Like, I don't think enough decks are playing with graveyard hate. I've had so many games against Uro where they just couldn't beat this. Oops. They couldn't beat this one card, or they have to spend a force negation on it. It's so backbreaking to their game plan. If they cannot escape Uro from the graveyard, their deck does a lot of nothing, or it's just a little too dirtily, in my opinion. It draws cards, it sort of does stuff, but eventually, like, if Mystic Sanctuary isn't bringing the Cryptic back from the graveyard, and if Uro isn't coming back from the graveyard, this deck actually doesn't really do a whole lot. I really highly suggest some graveyard hate. Just not enough graveyard hate right now. There's not enough graveyard hate. Don't know what to say about it. Not enough graveyard hate. It's a cornerstone to like beating their strategy. You need to attack the graveyard, in my opinion. If Oops goes off, anything we can do? Yeah, same thing here. Crack this thing. Exile their graveyard. They probably won't even go for the combo until they know that you've tapped out or they have an answer to Relic of Progenitus. But even then, I mean, if you play with, again, Surgical Extraction, you can exile all their Vengevines. And if you have two of them, you can exile all their Vengevines and exile all their Creeping Chill, so none of them will resolve against you. Do you look at viewers? Absolutely. We absolutely do that. We'll do that in about 5 minutes. We look at any and all deck lists, so long as they're not Commander. Just want to throw that out there. No Commander, please. I don't know what I'm looking at. Commander's not my specialty. Go check out the Spike Feeders. That's their specialty. How do you think we beat Rakdos Death Shadow? Who's we? The Merfolk community? Or what? Death Shadow, Death Shadow can be beaten just with a huge pile of removal. If you're talking about Merfolk, I think our best shot is like Chalice of the Void and Tempo cards. Chalice of the Void is pretty good overall against them. And then tempoing them out with like stuff like Harbinger of the Tides can work. Rough matchup though. They're very aggressive these days. Benjamin, thank you very much for the help yesterday. I wish you saw my comment when you reviewed my deck. Probably didn't. Sorry. A lot of comments. I missed things. That's why we got the 3 question marks before, 3 question marks afterwards system going on here. Any questions I missed earlier? Maybe I missed some stuff, but it's just how it is. But thank you very much, everyone, for the showing up to Coffee and MTG and being part of the action here. We have a really good crowd, 85 people between Facebook and the YouTube channels. Relic is awesome in general. Is there any chance any new sets will put out hate anywhere near as good? There's always a chance that they might up the ante. But the thing is, I think Wizards recently, I don't know what to say, but they have so much artifact hate out there. Like, there are so many artifact hate cards. Like, what more do we need? And I think they're all great. They're all super good. Maybe there could be more artifact hate. Sorry. Did you say artifact hate or graveyard hate? No, you said graveyard hate. So like, there's like, there's Relic, of Progenitus. No, this is the wrong Relic. There's Relic of Progenitus. There's Graph Digger's Cage. I think Wizards realized, the graveyard is a resource that needs to be beaten. Leyline of the Void. There's Tormod's Crypt. There's Nihil, Spellbomb. There's what else is there? Soul Guide Lantern. Rest in peace. Like, what more do we need? Like, what we? I mean, we have turn 0 graveyard hate. Turn 0. What do we need? Remorseful Choleric. I think we have everything. You know, to take your choice. And any deck can play this Remorseful or any white deck can play this Remorseful Cleric. Is God's Blessing a graveyard hate card? I know this is an anti-mill card. Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library. Draw a card. This is a little And sorcery. I wouldn't count this as graveyard hate. I think it's very weak graveyard hate. If I was preparing against Dredge, I would not be playing. I don't know. Maybe against Dredge. I don't know. It seems too risky to let the graveyard player like give you a turn. I like that you draw a card off of this. That's pretty impressive. How does Cryptolith Rite compare to Paradise Mantle? So I mean, yeah. So this for Splinterfin, this is like, you know, creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So now my what's it called? Pure Sight Marrow can add mana just by itself, and then you untap it. Who knows? Maybe it's better. I don't know. It costs more mana, so it's more mana intensive, but at the same time, now all my creatures get the benefit, get the effect. Honestly, just haven't tested it. Honestly, could be better. The one downside is you have to splash green. That's something you have to do, and that would be harder to play Lurrus with. So that's the only downside. For someone brand new to Modern, do you recommend getting into it via Magic the Gathering Online, getting ahead of the curve and buying paper in anticipation of paper coming back, and or looking for another format? If you're brand new to Modern, definitely get involved in Magic the Gathering Online. Modern is an experience-based format. You have to get into... Are you saying you have only one choice, one or the other? Because Magic the Gathering Online isn't for everyone. So I highly recommend you try it out. You know, you can try Mana Traders for free, for example, for 5 or 7 ticks. Just buy some dinky decks, see how the format is, play in the free tournament area. See if it is for you. I definitely think people should be buying into cards right now, while the prices are relatively cheap. Because when paper tournament comes back, I mean the prices are all going to go up. They're going to go up in a big way. I mean, I'd be doing I'd be doing at least 2 of these. I don't know about looking for another format. If you like Modern, then you just go all in with Modern. And Modern seems to be the format. No matter how much it goes to hell, people will just stick to it anyway. It's still the most popular, I think, of all the formats. Standard, Historic, Pioneer, Legacy, Vintage. Modern is the most devoted format, has the largest fan base. I hope some of that was useful. All right, let's get into deck list review. How do we do this? So there is a... we're going to go into deck list review. So in the description, there is a link to my Discord. Go to my Discord. Do I even have my Discord up? Where's my Discord? I don't even have my Discord open. We're all going to open my Discord. You have to have Discord to submit. It's the only way I can unify both YouTube channels and Facebook at the same time. There is... Join my Discord through the link in the description. There is a room called Decklists, where you can submit a deck list. Go use the command !review deck and then give the URL. Don't leave too many comments because there's 100 character max limit, and we can't get around it. It's just it's too bad. So leave your list there, and then you will be selected at random for deck list review. And I guess I'll just never clear the queue. If you submitted a list a few days ago, it'll still be available. Is this live? So this isn't live. This is just a re-upload primer of the Twitch stream, basically. No, we're super live here. See your comments here. How could I go back in time and see your comment and then post it here at the same time? Oh, speaking of going back in time, I think Tenet comes out today. I'm gonna be buying Tenet. Oh my god, this movie fucking blew my mind. I can't wait. Any Tenet fans out there? Tell me you've seen. I don't know if you've seen Tenet. You're gonna see Tenet. I believe it just got released today. It's December. I've been waiting for December 15th for like forever. Oh my god, since early September. That movie like really fascinated me. One word, Tenet. Frick, you got it before me. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm really excited for it. So Decklist review, and as we wait for people to submit Decklist, we are going to thank our sponsors, starting with themanabase.com, your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And the Manabase is sponsored by Fusion Gaming Online, my favorite local game store, a Canadian website in Canadian prices. They've got the deal. They have a deal of the week every single week. So always check in at Fusion to see what the new deal is. And right now is a 50% off sale on select items for Christmas. Go check them out at fusiongamingonline.com. Remember, Canadian site and the Canadian prices. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. And you can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below. Or you can get 15% off your first 3 months by using my coupon code Nikachu. And also, if you just wanted to try the service, or if you want to try Magic the Gathering online, one thing, you have to pay the $10 so that you enable trading on Magic the Gathering online. But Mana Traders does have a free plan. Free. 7 ticks. You can rent 75 cards. So this is a pretty good way to try it out to see if it's for you. Manatraders.com. I would recommend clearing the queue so you don't review someone's list who isn't here and they don't receive the feedback. But they might be watching the replay. I didn't clear the queue at the end of last time, so I'm just going to leave it for now. When was December 1st? What the hell's going on here? Decklist. Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong place. I'm in the wrong part of Discord. Okay, people are posting things. Everything is good. Yeah, but on the free subscription, you have to give that man your driver's license, which is sketch to me. This is a pretty legitimate business, so it's not that sketch. I don't know if you've ever... all the online sites do it. All these online sites do it. Like, when I first made my first big purchase to buy Magic cards, just to make sure that I was a legitimate person and I wasn't scamming someone on PayPal, they asked for my driver's license. It's just they want photo ID, basically. It's just photo ID. Oh, you cleared it after last time? Oh, it's all good. All right, let's go. Random. And yes, you can submit even jank tabletop, like 1v, like versus your friends Ponyland decks. All right, Ryan to the V. Congratulations. You are the next contestant on Decklist review. Let's go review some deck lists. Off the top, this is a very nice looking site. Okay, but we have to zoom in a little bit here. We can get rid of some of these ads. Too many ads. Feedback? I have no feedback. All right, we got an L's deck. Oh, it's not showing the pictures. How do we see the pictures? It looks like... oh, we do see the pictures on the side. How big can we make this? Okay, it's on the right here. Craterhoof Behemoth, 2 Draga Warcaller, 2 Azuri, Bramblewood Paragon, Elvish Archdruid, Dwinnins Elite, 4 Elvish Mystic, 4 Growth Chamber Guardian, 4 Heritage Druid, Llanowar Elves, Nettle Sentinel. Inscriptions of Abundance. Okay, kicker, 2 and a green. Choose one. If this spell is kicked, choose any number instead. Put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. Target player gains X life, where X is the greatest power among creatures they control, and target creature you control fights another target creature you don't control. Turn Timber Symbiosis, which is very good in this deck. Pendlehaven, Nurturing Peatland, 12 forests. So this is 14, 15, 19 lands. I guess this is enough. Ryan, what's with the Inscriptions of Abundance? I actually have nothing against this deck because this deck did go 5-0 in the hands of Squat Chief, a content creator, streamer, YouTuber. And I really and it was actually, this deck was born on Coffee and MTG. This came from Coffee and MTG. Or maybe I don't remember. Maybe you were the original person to submit the list, for all I know. The only things that stand out is the inscription. I don't know if you need this card. Does it work? Okay, well, okay. I will say this much. You got a solid core. So you got the Crater Hoof here to randomly find with your Turn Timber Symbiosis. And Turn Timber Symbiosis is great because what it says is you look at the top 7 cards of your library. You can put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. And if that card has converted mana cost 3 or less, it enters with 3 additional +1/+1 counters. That can be Jiraga Warcaller. And other elves creatures you control get +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Warcaller. So if you turn Timber into a Warcaller, all your creatures get +3/+3 because it has 3 counters on it. So it's a really strong interaction. I just would want to go maybe more all in on Warcallers instead of the Abundance, but I don't know how. Like you have because you have this Turn Timber Symbiosis, but you don't actually. You have 3 things to find with it. It'd be nice to have more, but I don't know how super important it is. You have Growth Chamber Guardian, which is okay, of course. Inscriptions of Abundance, Damping Sphere, Dismember, Reclamation Sage, Scavenging Ooze, Shaper Sanctuary. I think the deck is great. I think this deck is great. There's nothing wrong with this. Look, I close your ad and you put another damn ad up. Google, what's wrong with you? Yeah, why this ad? No. We're not doing that game here, Google. Get out of here. My ad blocking game has to get better. Anyway, this is a very good, I think the list is solid. There's nothing, Inscriptions of Abundance, I've never played with it, so I don't know if it's any good or bad. If you think it's good, then go for it. How is Ad Nauseam holding up these days? Very well. It's got a really good game of it against a Bosch Prowess, and it's like a combo deck that can beat other combo decks. So it's pretty good. Good morning, Nikachu. Good morning, Salute. Are you here? Salud! Salud's in the box. Oh my god. Salute is sleeping in this box on the kitchen table. This box is half off the table. Salute is going to fall down. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I just need to save Salute in a second. Just give me 1 second. You dummy. You're going to push yourself off the table. He's just going to sort of roll, and then the box is going to flop onto the ground with him. What land hate would be good in the modern meta? It's Blood Moon. Blood Moon and Cleansing Wildfire, but I think Blood Moon, people need more Blood Moon in the metagame right now. I think it is criminally underplayed right now. Criminally underplayed. Okay. Let's get it to another deck list. Papega! Papega's deck list has been chosen. Okay, so Bant Field of the Derp. Let's see what this is all about. Is this just like it's just Bant? Is it just Bant Field? So 1 Snapcaster Mage, 3 Uro, 1 Primeval Titan, 3 Teferi, 1 Jace, 2 Teferi Hero of Dominaria, 4 Path, 4 Growth Spiral, 1 Life from the Loam. Interesting. Okay, so you can like dredge stuff into your graveyard to make Uro maybe a little bit more consistent, while also giving yourself access to just more lands from the graveyard. Mana Leak, 2 Remands, 1 Tail's End, 3 Force Negation, 2 Cryptic Command, 2 Supreme Verdict, 1 Hour of Promise. You got a nice, beautiful number of lands here. Sideboard: Engineered Explosive, Ceremonious Rejection, Condemn, Veil of Summer, Aether Gust, Celestial Purge, Dovin's Veto, Ashok, Mystical Dispute, Time of Reinforcements. Okay, so first off, A lot of these decks aren't playing with Supreme Verdict, or if they do, they have like one in the sideboard because it goes against what you're trying to do. Like, what is the purpose of Supreme Verdict here, Papega? Because you're going to kill your own Primeval Titan, you're going to kill your own Uro, and you're also going to wipe out your Field of the Dead tokens. And I think that's the non-bow that they have to deal with. And especially since you're playing with Primetime, I don't know if you want to wipe out your own Primetime. By the way, I have nothing against Primeval Titan. I think this is like a pretty good card in itself, and you tutor for the stuff. So my recommendation, I would actually cut, well, not cut, but I would move the Supreme Verdicts to the sideboard. Spider Monkey, not a fan of Remand in these shells. I think Mana Leak as a permanent answer is much better because of how long we plan to go into the late game. That could be a fair. It's a fair argument. I mean, if you want to play Remand, I'll let you play Remand. Not that big of a deal. I don't mind the Life from the Loam. It's a very interesting addition here. It's like okay, I'll tell you what I want to do. I wanted to rip out these Supreme Verdicts, and I want to put one more Uro and maybe one more Primeval Titan. If you really want to, do we have Growth Spiral? Yeah, we have 4 Growth Spiral. We're doing great here on the Growth Spiral. The idea with Verdict is to just be able to survive till the late game. What decks are you losing to? But I mean, that's true all the time. Oh, I noticed you're not playing with any spot. Oh, no, you have spot removal. You have Path to Exile. The idea is supposed to survive to the late game with Cryptic Command and Hour of the Promise and just like start blocking people with Field of the Dead. Well, I mean, if you want to play a Supreme Verdict, I think my other recommendation is dump the Primeval Titan and add one more Uro. You know, just something that can come back from the graveyard. I mean, your deck, in the grand scheme of things, is very similar to any of the other Uro Omnath decks. It's not that much, it's not significantly different. I mean, you got your own spicy cards here and there, and I don't think it's going to come at a huge cost to the archetype. But you're going to be in situations where you have this big board and you draw a Supreme Verdict and you're like, well, this is not useful. And if, like, honestly, if you want to be able to survive to the late game, you need more stuff on the earlier portion of the game. And Path to Exile sort of helps facilitate that, but not the greatest. Fairy Time Reveler sort of helps that because you bounce creatures and you just buy yourself a time to get to the late game. I'm not going to lie, I haven't even been able to play this deck myself, just watched almost the same list on streams. Okay, that's interesting. When I look at the list, though, so let's go look at some Uro decks. Okay, let's see how many Supreme Verdicts are being played these days. See, there's 0 Supreme Verdicts in this list. And the reason is you don't want to kill your own Omnath and Uros and your army that you've created with Field of the Dead. If they have to deal with creatures, they Cryptic Loop. They do what they can with Cryptic Command. So let's look at another list if we can. And maybe make no mistake, this is like an Omnath deck, and there's again no Supreme Verdict here. Because you see the board states, I don't know if they want. Well, what can I say? Maybe like Supreme Verdict is underrated. I'm just telling you what people do and why this deck is like so powerful. Let's look at other Uro lists. So this is like Bant Uro. Let's look at. Is there Bant Uro that we can look at here? Yeah, honestly, I can't hate on Supreme Verdict all that much. I really can't. I mean, your fears are legitimate, and like I think it's reasonable against, say, like Rakdos Death Shadow. Just like kill off all their creatures at once. 0 are played in the 4 color list. Okay. Sideboard. I mean, it's a pile of cards. What can I say? Hold on. Do you have Mystic Sanctuary? You do. I would try to squeeze in. Well, maybe you have one less Cryptic Command because you're squeezing in the Supreme Verdict. But Cryptic Command seems to be so important to their game plan. I really can't, I can't say it's a bad list though. I really can't. I just hope that Primeval Titan isn't too much of a win more card. Why YouTube and not Twitch today? We're moving away from Twitch because not enough people go to Twitch. Got to keep my analytics high on Twitch if I want to become partner. Only like 35 people show up on Twitch. 92 of you show up on YouTube, my YouTube channels and Facebook. We're also on Facebook. We're going global here, people. We're going. Coffee and MTG is going global. Anyway, I have no really big adjustments. I hope that Life from the your two oddball cards are Primeval Titan and Life from the Loam. I can't say that they're bad cards though. I just hope Life from the Loam isn't going to be a non-bow with Uro. And Uro, you probably should have the fourth Uro somewhere. You should cut something. I don't know if it should be a Remand, Tails End, or whatever. But you know, people are claiming for the banning of Uro because it is like the engine to these decks. It is like the main reason that these decks are so OP, and you're not going to see many decks with like 3 or less Uro in them. I mean, maybe I'm mistaken. Is there an Uro deck with like less than 4 Uro? Let's look at Sultai Uro. 4 Uro. Let's look at Teamer Uro. 3 Uro. I am mistaken. I don't know anything. Forget everything I said. Thanks for submitting the list, Pepega. Or Dennis P, I should say. I recently switched to the second verdict and removed the third cryptic. You are right about the fourth Uro, and I would run it, but I don't want to buy the fourth one. All right. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. That's going to be it for Decklist review. That's going to be it for Coffee and MTG. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. I got to have some sort of banner here. Like, if you want to support the channel, go check me out on Patreon or Twitch. You can, if you, all for you YouTube people, if you got Twitch Primes, you can support the channel for free by subscribing to me on Twitch. That's a free way of supporting the channel. If you love Coffee and MTG, love being part of the daily conversation, support the channel. So thank you very much. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to say. So thank you very much. And by the way, we do this. We're doing this every single day. Whoops. We do this every single day. Coffee and MTG, Mondays to Fridays, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time to 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. So if I didn't get to your comments or your questions or your deck list, don't worry. There's always another day for it to happen. You just keep showing up. We're gonna keep going with the coffee. You keep that coffee brewing, and we'll keep that. We got to figure out the slogan. Keep that coffee brewing, and we'll keep up the magic, or something like that. Keep brewing coffee, and we'll keep brewing magic. See you next time. Thank you very much for showing up this morning. Appreciate you all. See you next time.